Hello, you guys. It is Crystal Lopez here from crystalandcup.com. How are you doing today? Guess who is here with me today? It's not Mrs. Claus. I'm just kidding.
Nana.
It's Nana. So she is here. She's here for, it feels like you're here for 3 weeks because you're here for 3 Sundays, right?
Well, I came in on a Sunday.
These potatoes are strong. I think, I haven't even had them that long and they are super ripe, I think. All right.
I hope there's not a bad one in there.
I concur with that. All right, you guys, so we are making dinner tonight. We are going to make, you're not making dinner?
She's making.
Okay, all right, well, I just wanted you guys to see that she's here, but we're going to make potatoes and sausage in the, what is that called? The electric skillet. We're gonna add some onion and we're going to add some bell peppers as well and make a big dinner. My mom is here, my family is here, well, all my kids and my husband, and then my in-laws are coming over for dinner as well.
And you're making a salad, right?
I am, I'm gonna make a salad.
With that lettuce?
Yes, with butter lettuce.
I love butter lettuce.
Do you? Well, you're in luck. All right, guys, I'm going to show you how easy this is to make. You made this a lot when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Often, okay? All right, guys, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make and how you can stretch this meal out. She's on the phone. She's on the phone. She's already gone. She picked up her phone call, and she's off. She's on to other things.
She's always on her phone.
She's on her phone a lot. All right, ready, set, go. All right, you guys, here's everything we're using. We're gonna use some potatoes. Those are like the Yukon potatoes, an onion, the kielbasa sausage, and some peppers. And I didn't have bell peppers on hand. I had those mini peppers because I use them a lot on sheet pan dinners. Use them for this. Don't feel like you have to go and buy bell peppers if you have those on hand, right? Like, let's think outside the box. Those potatoes, I just bought them at the beginning of this month. Like, they were ripe. And I don't know if it's because the wall in my kitchen that they sit on, that I usually keep them on, that wall is warmer. Like in the summertime, it's warmer. Look at that. Oh. In the wintertime, it's warmer. And it's the same side where I have those 2 small windows that come, like they're not windows that open. They're just windows that are in the wall. They're little bitty, like 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot windows. I feel like a lot of heat comes in over on that side. So maybe I need to start storing my potatoes somewhere else. But I also have this unnerving feeling of storing them like in the pantry, at the bottom of the pantry in a container and forgetting that they're there and the kind of mess that could create. But anyway, so we're just peeling all of these up. Peel as many as you want. I like lots of potatoes in this and they are going to cook down. But remember, as my friend Kelly from 3 Boys and a Dog always says, she's always telling me, potatoes, rice, great ways to extend any meal. And it's so, so true. I completely agree with that. So if you're feeding a crowd, the more potatoes you add, the more rice you add, the more of that starch that you add, the longer you're going to be able, or the further you're going to be able to spread that out. So we're just getting these nice and peeled. Do you guys use a potato peeler? I use a potato peeler. When I use a knife to peel my potatoes, I waste way too much. So I really love using a potato peeler. I would love to know how you guys feel about that. All right, so we're going to get these peeled. If I had some rabbits or some chickens, as long as the potato peels aren't green, my understanding is you can give those to your chickens. Now, I didn't have quite enough potatoes there, so I grabbed some of the little potatoes that I use for my sheet pan dinners. I added those in. We are going to cut those up as well. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough potatoes, even with there were a handful of them that I had to throw out because they were super, super soft and had really bad mushy spots. All right, we're gonna cut up this onion. I'm going to cut it up into smaller pieces for this part. So I cook this in 2 separate batches. Watch how I do this. So in my electric skillet, I've got my olive oil over there. I've got it heating up. And now I'm going to take 1 medium onion and I'm going to dice it up into smaller pieces. We're going to toss that in, and we're also going to toss in some garlic. You can do fresh garlic or the jarred stuff. I always do the jarred stuff. I did 2 big spoonfuls of that. We're going to get that going. It's going to be fragrant. Your house is going to be smelling so good. While that is there, we're going to start cutting up these potatoes. So I take 1 potato and I cut it in half long ways. Then I take those 2 halves, or I take each half and I slice it in 3s, and then dice it up from there. You want your pieces to be even in size so that they cook evenly. You want them to cook evenly so that everything's done at the same time, right? If you have big pieces and little pieces, your little ones are going to turn to mush and your big ones aren't done yet, right? So we want to be as uniform as possible. You're not measuring, like don't go overboard with it, but you do want to keep them as similar in size as possible so that they cook evenly, okay? All right, let's finish dicing up these potatoes. And those little ones, I just cut them into 4s. I kept the skin on them. Once all of this cooked down, you didn't even notice that the skin was still on any of those. So let's keep cutting these up and then we'll move on to the next thing.
Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder.
Okay, so you notice that I put salt and pepper on them. You want to make sure you salt this well because potatoes, excuse me, potatoes need salt. All right, then we're gonna pop a lid on it. That lid is gonna hold the steam and the heat in and it's going to help it cook quicker. Trust me on this, okay? All right, we're gonna take our bell pepper or our little peppers, and either way, whichever one, the sweet little peppers, and we're gonna cut them up and we're gonna do them in nice, I do the same thing. I cut the top off of the pepper, I cut the pepper in half, and then I cut the half in slices and then dice it up. Like I just want consistently sized pieces here. So my husband has some camera equipment that he's playing around with to see, like, you know, to do some photography stuff for some of our videos and to do maybe to help with some of the recording. So he's just doing some testing and playing around. You're going to see that camera in the way a couple of times, but that's okay. All right, so I'm actually putting these in a bowl and setting them aside. Right now, we're just cooking the potatoes by themselves. If we put everything else in, it is, you know, like our sausage is going to get overcooked. The potatoes take the longest, so that's where we're starting. And there was just a little bit of olive oil left in that container, and I just kind of wanted to bang it out of there and make sure that there was plenty of oil in there to keep those potatoes from sticking. I've got another medium-sized onion and I'm cutting it into more like wedges. You see that? And I'm putting that in with the peppers because we're going to cook the peppers and the onions and the kielbasa all together in just a minute. We're going to take those potatoes out of the skillet as soon as they're done. Just hang with me here. There is a method to my madness, I promise. All right, we're gonna cut these up again, consistent, even slices because we want it to all cook evenly. So get all of that cooked up and throw it in the bowl with the onion and the peppers.
I dare you to be wilder.
All right, see how these potatoes are starting to get a nice crispy layer to part of them? That's what we're going here for. That's what we're going for here. That's what we want. And that is going to happen as we let them kind of, you know, essentially you're frying the potatoes in here. I guess there was a tiny bit more of olive oil in that container. I really wanted to make sure I got it all out. So I've sped it up here, but do you see how keeping that lid on, this is obviously over the course of like 15 minutes or so, but the condensation that creates in there and all the steam that's creating and the heat, and it's really, really helping those potatoes get nice and done. So I take one potato out and I check it to see how easily my knife goes through it. And when they're done, I take them out and put them into another bowl because remember, they're all pretty consistent in size, so they should all be done. If I do find a piece that's a little bit bigger, I'll cut it and check it to make sure that my knife goes through it easily. All right. So we leave our little bits there that are still in the pan. That's okay. Those are good bits to have there. And then we're going to add in some more olive oil and we're going to add in our garlic and we're going to add in that bowl that has all of the sausage, the onions, and the peppers. And we're going to get them nice and stirred up and coated well with the garlic and the olive oil. And then we're going to pop the lid back on them as well and let that same process happen here where it's steaming up. I've sped it up really fast so that you can kind of see how that goes, but It's, again, steaming up, building up the condensation, building up the heat, getting them done quickly. So that lid was probably on there for 10 or 12 minutes. And now we're just stirring to see the sausage is pre-cooked. It's heating it thoroughly, but also getting those onions cooked and those peppers cooked, right? So we're just kind of cleaning up our mess, letting it sit with the lid on and cook a little bit more. And then once they are almost done, we will add those potatoes back in and combine everything together. Let them cook a little bit longer so that all the flavors can come together. And then dinner will be just about ready. All right, so now that we have all of this combined well together, we're going to add some more pepper and some more salt. The sausage itself is well seasoned. Whoop, camera. The sausage itself is well seasoned. We want to make sure that those veggies are seasoned and that those potatoes are seasoned. And we're just going to pop the lid back on it for a few more minutes so that all the flavors of all of that can come together, and it'll be delicious and perfect. Now, you don't want to overcook this. Overcooking it will look like mushy potatoes, and you don't want that. So I always we have these little bitty testing bowls. My kids know about the testing bowls. Everybody wants a test. So I get a little bit in a bowl and I test it. And if the salt's not right, or if I'm making spaghetti and my seasonings aren't right, we start adjusting from there. So you'll see Jack's little hair was there. He was waiting to get a test. All right, so my mom made the salad while I was cooking. She cut up all that butter lettuce, and she cut up the cucumber, and then the tomatoes were there, and she was chatting with Lenny's parents who were over for dinner as well. And we had those crescent rolls. My kids love crescent rolls. And this was just a delicious, perfect dinner. All right, so there's my father-in-law, and then my mom, and my mother-in-law is over here too, and they all just love hanging out, chit-chatting, and catching up. Kids came down and ate as well, and we all had a delicious dinner. I don't have a printable version of this over on my site, but this is super, super easy to make. Now I'm gonna give you a quick peek inside our Thanksgiving. How did Thanksgiving go for you guys? My mom and I woke up early, and we started with peeling and chopping up the sweet potatoes and getting them on. We had a phone set up here. We were chatting with my sister-in-law via video chat, and then we had the camera going for the YouTube video, so there was lots going on. But I'm peeling, she's chopping up. We're getting those put in the slow cooker again. Even or equally sized pieces is what you want to be throwing in there so that they all get done about the same time. For my sweet potatoes, for my sweet potato casserole, I literally just chop them up like you're seeing here. I throw them in the slow cooker. I put some butter in, like just cut up a stick of butter into little pats or chunks or whatever. And then I put in some brown sugar and some pecans and some marshmallows and let it cook. For breakfast, I made pumpkin bread, which was just a box of spice cake mix with a can of pumpkin added, and you cook it. It was delicious. We ate it hot out of the oven with butter on top. It was fantastic, and it kept us fueled while we were getting the rest of the meals ready. All right, so this year I used every appliance that I possibly could, realistically. So I boiled my eggs for our deviled eggs in the Instant Pot. You only have to boil them in there for 5 minutes. They come out perfect. You take the shells off and proceed as usual making your deviled eggs. They were amazing. That is our turkey. We ended up making one turkey, and then a friend brought a smoked turkey. And then we also had our green bean casserole in the slow cooker. Yes, I love utilizing the slow cooker. There are those sweet potatoes cooking, the sweet potato casserole, yum. I remember that Brussels sprout stock that I got at Trader Joe's. My mom was taking those off of the stock, and we were getting them all cleaned up, and then we just sauteed them up in some garlic and olive oil, and it was fantastic. We did a ham, or that ham that I got at, where did I get the ham? At Costco. We did it out on the Traeger. It turned out perfect. It was so, so easy. All right, guys, here are the rest of the sides. The potatoes, the Puerto Rican rice I'm going to show you in a second off to the left. The deviled eggs turned out perfect. I show you some of it. I didn't get to everything. I think I got sidetracked with the food, but it was fantastic. I hope that you had an amazing time. I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving. If you were with family, I hope that it was absolutely wonderful and that you made memories and everything was as perfect as it could possibly be. Guys, thanks for watching. It's been wonderful having my mom here in town and having everybody over for Thanksgiving and to celebrate. Guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
I want to be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my head down if I won. Don't you just